Hello YouTube and welcome to my crib. Welcome back to Maria Goes Acting. Last week has been eventful.
Maria Goes Acting! Yeah!
I went to my home, which is in Kyiv, to celebrate Easter with my family. And I filmed some of the content along the way and I realized it's so hard to be a blogger. But I completely forgot about this vlog. So I'm like, thanks God I'm choosing to be an actress, not a blogger. Because it's so hard, it's so demanding, and I have so much respect for people who can actually do it. Good morning, YouTube. It's me and my horribly tired face. I woke up today at 3 to catch my 5:45 a.m. flight, and here I am. You could say in the middle of nowhere, but I'm in Warsaw. I'm going to go get some food, and yeah, we'll see how it's gonna go. And I still need to edit my latest video, but I think me putting on some makeup and putting my hair down already makes such a difference. Maybe it's the light. Well, anyway, come eat with me now. I need to get my steps in, so I'm trying to find if I can walk instead of using an elevator in this hotel, because I'm very high up, and if I can walk all those floors down, I'll probably get my 7,000 steps in. So let's see. For now I only see fire exits and all of them are closed, so maybe it's one of those places where they don't want you to walk. I'm just gonna walk around and see what I can find. Okay, is this it? No, it's another fire door. Okay, I give up. Just gonna use the elevator and I'll find steps elsewhere. Oh, here's the gym. They also have some. Let's see what they have in there. So I recorded some parts of my trip.
I took a tram in Warsaw for the first time. Yay! But I felt a bit stupid because I didn't know where to get the ticket. When you get them inside, there's a ticket machine, but it wasn't obvious for me. And also, I saw this cute little passenger. I mean, look at that coat or jacket. Wow.
I was in Poland, and then I went to Ukraine, and it's a very long trip. Before I consider this trip to be just really long, uncomfortable, and quite dangerous. But one of my friends said that you change so many means of transportation, it really looks like a Barbie trip. Since I've heard that, it just romanticized the whole journey for me, and I'm actually excited and looking forward to it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take my Barbie trip. So I went to Kyiv, and what happened there, I was lucky to find tickets to see this new play in the Franco Theater. And if you haven't read anything or heard nothing about Ukrainian theater, during the wartime, it's on the rise. Like the amount of new productions being released is just incredible. It's a true renaissance of Ukrainian theater, and I highly recommend if you get a chance to see. And they actually tour now in European cities and sometimes in America. They came to Ireland for the theater festival in Dublin. So yeah, you can probably catch some of Ukrainian theaters abroad. But it was just incredible. There is this director, his name is David Petrosyan, and just the way he works with spaces and set design. And this time it was an original play. Sorry, it's just that my friend with whom we're producing this podcast just messaged me, and Sorry, I got distracted there for a second. So there was this new play called Trojanstvo by Maxim Kurochkin. His text is just incredible. It was just so interesting how they worked with performance. There was a lot of videography, and there was a lot of live recording and showcasing that on stage. And then there was dance. I was just so impressed. And I'm going to link down below a few interesting articles on the contemporary Ukrainian theater. The main thing that happened in terms of my acting is that I booked a consultation with a casting director.
Maria goes acting! Yeah!
That was very interesting, and I thought, why haven't I booked those consultations before? This is so useful. We got to speak about the archetypes. And I remember a few years back, I watched this video, and I'm going to link it down below in the comments, with an actor speaking about the importance of archetypes if you want to get cast. When you're starting out as an actor and practicing and visiting all of these workshops and doing training, you're starting to get more confident, and it starts to seem to you that, oh, I can probably play any type of role. And then you hear about the archetypes and how casting directors prefer you to be kind of put in a box in a certain way, or described in a certain way, and you almost feel like, but I have so much more to offer. I'm not just this one thing, or I'm not just this one type of character. But you have to remember that casting is about problem solving, and this is about letting the casting director and the director see the character in you. So in this sense, if you're just trying to get your first couple of roles, it's so much better to know who you are and which type of characters you resemble instantly, increasing your chances to get cast. We have a dominant archetype and supporting one. Knowing how you process emotions and your strong features is very important. The archetypes is something that comes from psychology and from Carl Jung. And this is something we studied in the university, but in a bit of a different context. It was in the context of storytelling and how you can use those archetypes to define your characters, but also as archetypes of understanding other people's personalities, like how to work with them and how to build relationship. And I knew about them for years, but I was a bit confused trying to figure out who I am. I was overcomplicating everything because it seemed to me that the most obvious truth is probably way too obvious, and there should be so much more to the whole archetype theory. There are 12 archetypes. You can color code them with red, blue, green, and yellow. It's funny how I can really see myself as how I see a part of every archetype in me and every human, because we're as humans, we're not linear, we're not one-dimensional. We have all of those archetypes present in us, and depending on the circumstances, we can act more as a lover or more as a jester, or we can be more of a magician or the caregiver. But coming back to the acting part, when you know what your dominant and supporting archetypes are, it's something that helps you define the type of headshots you would use, the types of scenes you would like to record, the type of scenes or monologues or clips you would like to include into your portfolio. And also it would define the types of roles you would apply for. If, say, your dominant archetype is innocent, and you would go for the role of a very authoritative figure, it's just, why? Why would you put so much energy? Why? I mean, not to say you cannot play the type of character, but it would just be so much harder. And after reminding myself about the archetypes and talking to the casting director again, I just thought, okay, let's have a strategy here. From now on, I'm just gonna apply for the roles that speak to my dominant archetype. And by the way, let me know in the comments who you think I am. Who do you think you are, girl? I would be curious to hear. I'm going to apply for just those roles to get more work and to get more experience. And then I feel like when you reach the level of a Meryl Streep, then it gets interesting because different directors would like to work with you and they would like to see, oh, does she have a gesture on her? Can she be an explorer and be the next Lara Croft or whoever? So yeah, then you can really challenge yourself. You can challenge the casting directors, the directors, and pull it off. But if you are in the beginning, in the middle of your career, I think it's much easier to know your archetype and to use it to your advantage.
Ria goes acting. Yeah.
Right. So I was in the theater. I also went to see an exhibition about Boychukis called after the name of Boychuk. That is the surname of the founder. And it will combine inspiration from the monumental Italian and Byzantine art and also this like Soviet style brutalist images. It was interesting to see how art can have such a transformative power on the audience, but how it can also be completely transformed by the people in power. What I mean by that is that the Boychuk tradition, it started with the kind of how you imagine Italian Renaissance paintings. It started with this depiction of the stories from Ukrainian village, but you have to know a bit of Ukrainian history to understand that between 1910 and 1930s in Ukraine, it was the beginning of the communist rule. And in 1932, we had man-made famine, which killed over 10 million of Ukrainians, and people were starved to death by the Soviet Union. And people in villages had to live in terrible conditions and they had to give away all of their food. But the artists who were painting at the time, they would depict this rural stories of a Ukrainian village as a fantasy world. They would depict scenes of the people having food, having fun, dancing, making art, celebrating life, holidays, while in fact they were fighting for their survival. Yeah, some of the paintings that I saw, it really was a Ukrainian village paradise type of images. And then you can really see how slowly they started to transform into this Soviet propaganda influenced images of like sportsmen or civil servants or soldiers, and they're kind of scenes from their daily life, but the way they look and the way they were depicted was completely transformed. And it was so interesting. And at that exhibition, I bought this book, which is called Do Design, Why Beauty is the Beginning of Everything. It's by Alan Moore. It got me thinking because I read all of it now. It's just really same book. I think it's just great. Whoever created small books was a genius because they're so handy to travel with. And don't get me wrong, I have a Kindle, but I'm just one of those old souls who just loves the smell of new books. It talks about beauty and the process of creating beauty and art. And it got me thinking how beauty is one of the biggest forms of protest. And while I was in Kyiv, after a really exhausting, terrible, harsh winter with temperatures of minus 20 something degrees, people having no electricity, no hot water, no just surviving really, plus the night and sometimes daily attacks with missiles and drones and bombs and all of that, how they're living in these conditions and they're almost forced to create beauty. The amount of new designers, new artists, new creatives right now in Ukraine, and the amount of art that they create and new places that are being opened and the design of those places and the attention to detail. Even if you go to like a new coffee shop and the way they make a menu, the way they take pictures to post on their socials, is just next level. And I think it's because by creating this beauty and purposely spending time on beautifying everything, they're almost creating an alternative reality where war doesn't exist, or maybe where they're trying not to be affected by the war, at least mentally, while physically you can not be affected, you know? It got me thinking how beauty is almost a synonym of dignity. And there is this Irish poet, Seamus Guinea, who I think he said something like that.
Ria goes acting. Yeah.
I don't really know what to say anymore, guys. No, you know what happened today? Because I'm counting calories, I was almost out of my daily count, and I was just walking around the city and photographing every menu, every restaurant menu, putting it to Gemini and asking, what can I eat here that would be under 280 calories? And it was such an annoying quest to be a part of, especially because I was starving, but I did it. I found cabbage rolls and I ate them. I'm still hungry. This week I've been traveling and I ended up at home and I saw my family and it was a great time. It made me realize the importance of coming home, coming back to your roots and to who you are, really owning that and then using it for your benefit. The weather is interesting. How you know that you arrived home? It's like when you walk to your street and suddenly you meet your childhood friends. Oh, I just like one. Two of them actually. Yay, so happy. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Bring it into the light. Bye, YouTube.
Maria.